Welcome, my darling. We are live. Let's get Instagram rolling. I tend to forget about poor little Instagram. I'm sorry, friends.
Yep. Let's get Instagram. So, hi, welcome to Monday.
Yeah, it's a Monday, that's for sure.
Yeah, you've had some interesting weather today.
We have. It got kind of crazy here. About four or so. We had severe rain, hail, cloud rotation. I just before we hit live, one of our local spotters said that he has confirmed damage. So that rotation must have come down and actually touched down. Now, I don't think it was near the damage that Nebraska has seen last week, but it's still bird's eye, maybe 4 miles. That's from us.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah,
little interesting.
ugh. Yeah, we got the tail end. So there was a lot of weather up in Oklahoma, and we got like the tail bottom part of it. It didn't rain, but it's been cloudy almost all day. Um, but I still went outside and, you know, got my light because that is important, whether it's overcast or full on sun.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't end up and get out and get that sunrise. So, sunrise and grounding is so important to start the circadian rhythm first thing in the morning, help with that slow cortisol rise instead of the dawn effect. But it definitely makes a huge difference getting out there first thing and being exposed to that light, not, artificial junk light first thing in the morning.
Right, right. Yeah, my routine in the morning is I get up and use the bathroom, right? And then I have to get dressed because um, we live in a RV park, so I don't think the fellow RV people would appreciate me going outside in my pajamas.
Ah, sure. Come on.
No, right? But yep, been getting that in. I mean, I've got solarized water setting outside now. Just it's just my routine at this point.
Yeah, it is. Glad to see you're still up and going. Well, it didn't take us down yet. I'm just glad it was during the day that
Yeah,
storm come through.
setting up at
But
night waiting for weather is not fun.
no, well, and you can't see anything. So, that's kind of the last time we had severe weather. It was there was supposedly a confirmed touchdown, and that one was only a mile from us. So it was pitch black. We couldn't see it. We didn't, even know it was there. So yeah, kind of crazy, kind
Yeah,
of scary. But anyway, back to your water. Yes, the solarized water that is sitting outside, creating structured water. So when that water is exposed to sunlight and it absorbs that vibrational energy through the rays of the sun. But it definitely, for people that struggle with dehydration, I was just talking to my husband about this dehydration prior to coming up here to the office, and so many people are dehydrated, especially as we go into summer, that just the different type of water and how we hydrate on that cellular level helps, versus just drinking like bottled water, which part most of your bottled water can also have microplastics in it. So makes a difference.
yes. So, Hack Your Health is getting closer.
It is. Um, sorry, I'm reading questions over on Instagram. So yes, all the different platforms. We'll go into Hack Your Health. All the different platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. If you have questions tonight, we're just doing a live Q&A. So make sure you put your questions in the chat or the comment boxes, and we will get them addressed. Yes, Hack Your Health. Man, that is coming so quick. Loved our visit with Robin that we did a few weeks ago. I'm excited to actually go and meet her in person. But like I said, it's coming before we know it. It's the end of May. We do still have a coupon code. So if you want to join us, it's BNC50. That'll save you $50 off your tickets. Come see us. Join us also in the BNC community because we have an exciting meetup on Friday night of Hack Your Health. So all sorts of exciting things happening for Hack Your Health, formerly known as KetoCon. But yeah, I'll be in Austin end of May.
And we'll be wearing our shirts. Don't forget our swag shirt. Our BNC shirts. Yep. So we're going to be walking around wearing them all weekend. So you'll be able to spot us. Please come up and say hi. We would love to meet you.
Absolutely. I'll even give you a handshake or a hug, whatever you prefer, but I would love to meet you. And you'll be able to pick us out because it has BNC on the front and it has a scannable QR code on the back of us. So feel free to scan our backs basically and join the BNC community, which before we go into the questions. That is one thing that I also want to say is, I know I'll squeeze you tight, Sly. One of these days I'll get to meet you. One of the things that I want to say is the BNC community. So we just added several new meetings. We have meetings by coaches through the day. We've got community meeting every day, 7 days a week. That happens midday. So it's some of us, our friends across the pond that are, a little bit later than us. Obviously, if they're already watching us, it's anywhere after midnight for them. So, we have some of those daytime meetings to hit different time zones. That's not middle of the night for you, and then we have some that are in the evening for people like Australia that noontime central is like 2 a.m. So we have meetings kind of all throughout the day. Monday through Thursday, we have daytime and evening. Friday, we have daytime. And then the weekend, we have socials. So feel free to join us at bncommunity.com. Karen asked, so after solarizing, then put it in an echo, then copper. Yes. Yep. That's when I don't know about you, Sherry, but when I end up and I bring my water in, I made a video the other day. I'll get it posted. I carry my water in. I'll swirl the jug, intention, creating even a little bit more of that structure with that water. And then I pour it from it into the copper water bottle. And then I have a half-gallon jug that I set out, or half-gallon jar that I set outside. So my half-gallon jar actually will fill my copper water bottle plus my Echo water bottles. So if you want the Echo water bottle, I can put a link in the chat. Also, code BNC10 will save you on your Echo water bottle. But yes, it's from the solarized into the hydrogen, or into the copper, into the hydrogen, depending how big of a jar you're sitting outside.
Now, what you don't want to do is pour the hydrogen into the copper. It's copper into here, or just the water from your solarized. I know we get that question a lot. Becky, while you're looking it up, also post, I have an affiliate for 10% off of the copper water bottles as well. And the only reason Becky and I have these is because we use the product. We believe in them. But let's talk about the copper, why we are putting water in the copper water bottles and drinking it. Can you explain the benefits to that?
Yep. Hey, Charlie and Marilyn, give me 2 seconds while I'm grabbing a link. So copper has a lot of benefits. I can't type and talk. But there is the link for the hydrogen water bottle if you want to grab your Copperly link.
Sure.
So copper water bottles have a lot of benefit, or copper water. Of course, now my brother's calling. I'll call him back. When we look at copper water bottle or copper vessels, copper has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for quite a while in regards to storing water, purifying water. Also has that antimicrobial, antiviral aspect, but it does help to support a lifestyle such as ours, such as myself, that had thyroid issues. Many people are copper deficient. So copper will be basically like microdosed into your water that you're consuming. It is a mineral. We need copper. But it helps with preventing aging. It helps with supporting the skin, the hair, the nails, the thyroid, cardiovascular, the brain also. Now, so I use the copper water, but I also use the hydrogen. A lot of those things intermix as to what they end up and they help with. But again, copper vessels do help on the aspect of providing clean water too. So helps with the immune system, helps support weight loss too. There's several studies that you can look up in regards to it supporting the role of metabolizing fat and helping with the breakdown of fat. But yeah, like I said, thyroid, aging, brain, skin are your main benefits. I did want to grab real quick some of the questions, and then we'll go into the Echo water and how it's beneficial. Oh, let me.
I got a question too that popped up on mine. So if you want to go first.
So Ruth, thoughts on hypnotherapy? Depends, in my opinion, what it's used for. I think it can, for some, they have provided benefit. For others, not. It really hasn't helped them. Best foods for diabetics: meat and more meat, high fat, high protein, veg. It depends on the person. I have diabetics that are doing a high fat carnivore approach. I have diabetics that are doing a high fat, moderate protein, low carb. So especially on the seasonal aspect, whether that be type 1 or type 2 diabetics, actually, in how they are maintaining their blood sugar and their insulin levels. So I've worked with several type 1 diabetics that have actually been able to cut their insulin in half, and many type 2 diabetics that have been able to come off of insulin and actually off of even any diabetes medication. So I think it really takes working with a coach and doing what works for you. Doing it, it does make a difference how much sunlight you're getting, how much grounding you're getting, how well you balance your stress. All of that plays into what you're doing and how your metabolism is firing, as well as the dairy aspect. I think many people don't tolerate dairy. I know that may shock several.
Yeah.
If you are going to consume dairy, I would go with like a raw dairy or a goat sheep dairy, just because the way we metabolize the fats, especially in the goat and the sheep. But I would go with a raw dairy. I don't have access to raw dairy in Nebraska, so I will typically use goat dairy. I do have a daycare parent that raises goats, so I can get it fresh too. But
so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Finding it hard to go to sleep early and get up early enough.
Go to sleep and get up early enough. So I'm assuming they mean for like circadian rhythm. With that, in regards to circadian rhythm, that's where the blue blockers come in. So I have 3 different kinds. I personally like Midwest. That's the one that I will normally recommend. They're the most affordable. Although Rudy over at Viva Rays is what I will use for traveling. And the reason I will use my Viva Rays for traveling is because it has all three. It's a clip and go. So Sherry's showing you the Midwest. They have the yellow, the orange, and the red. Where, like I said, when I'm traveling, I don't need three different lenses. I can just take the Viva Rays and to travel with them. When I travel the end of the month here, I will be taking them, but there's the red lenses. So to help with going to sleep earlier, I would recommend blocking the blue light after sunset. So once the sun goes down, I would put the orange lenses on an hour before you want to be in bed. So say you're not able to go to bed till midnight right now. Say the ideal time that you want to be starting to fall asleep is 10 o'clock. I would put the red lenses on at 9. We are gravitating into summer where the sunsets are going to start getting later. View that natural sunset unless you have to go to bed before. Ideally, you would view the sunset and then put the red lenses on, and that way your body's going to start winding down even further, producing that melatonin, and it'll help you get peaceful sleep, restful sleep, and that deep sleep. As you get that deep sleep before midnight, the body is going to work more efficiently. Also, the leptin's going to dock in the hypothalamus. You're going to start, producing that melatonin quicker. You got to produce the melatonin. You've got to be able to have the leptin dock so the body knows what energy reserves it has to use for the next day. But also when we look at meal timing, that's the other thing when it comes to going to bed early is you want to space that meal out. Ideally 3 to 4 hours, but if you can space it even up to 5 to 6, many people will sleep better, sleep deeper. When you eat, you stimulate insulin and cortisol. They're like on a polar opposite of each other to melatonin. So if you're eating too close to bed, unless you're creating some type of a glycemic response where you're getting tired after a meal, or tripping the tryptophan, if you will. That's why people get tired when they eat a bunch of turkey, right? That can also end up and cause you to be tired. But yeah, that would be my personal recommendation as far as how to get to sleep earlier. And over on Instagram, Ruth, I don't know if you're talking about where and when. I assume you're referring to Hack Your Health or the KetoCon. Hack Your Health is in Austin, Texas, May 30th through June 2nd. And the BNC meetup is that Friday night. And we'll have details in the BNC community as far as where that's at. Do you all eat raw liver or raw brains? Not currently. And I say it that way because I have had raw liver. I did the whole frozen raw liver a few years ago. I personally use my Grassland Nutrition liver when I feel like my body needs it. So I do kind of what they call muscle testing with that, where if my body is craving, the want or the need for it, I will have it. If it does not sound good, I don't have it. I do have a link, since that question come off Instagram. I do have a link over in my bio of Instagram for Grassland Nutrition. I also just had an interview with Sally come out on Grassland Nutrition podcast. So take a listen to that. But that's what I use for liver, and I can access brain. I don't know about you, Sherry. Do you eat raw liver or raw brain?
Oh, absolutely not. I know. And I know my mother is watching tonight. So as kids, when she would fix liver, we would tie our baby doll blankets like around our mouth and nose, and because I couldn't stand the smell. I can't to this day. But what I do take is liver supplements, right? And I take that through MK Supplements, and I'm trying to grab a code for that. So I do that. to get my organ meat in, but to eat it, well, we live in a travel trailer. Can you imagine cooking that? Ooh. But yeah, no, I won't consume it straight on. I've been around people that eat raw liver. I've seen them do it. I've seen their kids do it, and it's not for me.
Me either. Like
Yeah.
I said, I've done the raw liver where you chop it up in like small enough pieces that you can eat it frozen.
Oh,
But that's been a couple of years. And if you're just joining us, because I see several of you jumping in on my Instagram, we're just doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions, and anything kind of encompassed within the Beyond Nutrition, so that can be nutrition related, that can be circadian related, grounding, any of those natural things. If you follow us on Instagram, and want a little clarification, feel free to post a question or pick our brain in regards of what we're talking about. But yeah, I want to say, I gotta stop and think. So that was probably in 2020, 2021, maybe, that we did the frozen liver. And I say we because there was a whole frozen liver gang type thing, um, where it was almost like a challenge. So that was probably the last time I've ate raw liver.
mm,
But we process a beef. So, when we get, usually now, because there's only 3 of us still in the house, 3 kids gone, 3 at home, or us and the youngest one at home, we're only getting like half a beef processed instead of the whole thing. But I still get, depending who gets the other half, I get all the organs, the fat, everything. So that's a lot of liver when you do it that way. I make pate. I have several videos on our YouTube. When I made liver pate, I'll make homemade Braunschweiger. So, I mean, I've ate liver. I don't mind it, but
bless you.
I'll do more now. Again, like I said, we have our meat processed, right? So I know where my meat comes. It's not gross for me. But did you ever get into, we call it tiger meat here in Nebraska, but the raw hamburger, back in the day I used to eat it with saltine crackers. Now I'll eat it with like a pork rind. But it's just the raw hamburger with seasonings and
Yeah. And now that I can do. Um, and I don't mind like my steaks like rare. I don't mind that at all. Um, but yeah, I definitely eaten raw hamburger, especially the hamburger the hamburger meat, the ground beef, because we sourced our cow as well, and I know exactly what I got that's in the freezer that I can do that with.
yeah, it definitely makes a difference if it's, coming from the grocery store and it's been sitting there, it's just, it does truly make a difference. And I just, I'll do the steak tartare. Sometimes, I end up wanting that. Um, but I laugh because my family always, would say that knock the horns off and slap it on a plate and I'm good, which pretty much, I'll do blue rare, or rare,
Yeah,
but and even like my steak that I cooked tonight, I would say it classified more under the blue rare.
yeah, yeah. It's funny how everybody's taste, and I'm sure my mother's horrified right now to know that I've eaten raw hamburger, so meat. Um, but it's funny how your taste has, you know, changed because there are just certain things I eat now where it's would have never, like you said, you crave it, and I would have craved the carbs. more than now. It's like, oh my goodness, a good steak sounds really good, or a good hamburger patty, or whatever. I've even made carnivore chicken nuggets, that instead of using like breadcrumbs, I use the pork rinds crunched up. So, uh, it's just coming up with creative ways. I always make ahead my carnivore high fat egg yolk muffins. I make those ahead of time, so I have those for breakfast all the time. When you were talking about for diabetics, um, for me personally, my blood sugar would rise when I was attempting to try and eat 1 gram of protein per my ideal body weight. My body figured out that it was game on, and it could take that and convert it to glucose. And so I am one of those people that Becky referred to as having an adequate protein with a higher fat. Um, and speaking of higher fat, so in the community right now, 3 of us coaches are about starting tomorrow. We're going to do a fat fasting.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for it, even though I just seen the message that said technically it starts at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Well, I'll be starting already. Technically my fast will begin tonight. So yes, three of us coaches. I know the other one is on here watching us. So yeah, the 3 of us will begin and that's what's beautiful about the community, right? She originally reached out because of another, group, I guess, was doing something, and she wasn't necessarily able to do it, and so we come together as her tribe, and we are supporting her. I didn't even hesitate. I'm like, I'll do it. I'll jump in there with you. I feel great when I'm fat fasting. If anyone that it almost brought me to tears last week, right? We had our final follow-up with the fat fasting class that I just did. We went 4 weeks through, and we had anywhere from mental health benefits to energy benefits, weight loss. I mean, we had that one gal only did it a couple days a week, and at that point she had lost 3 pounds. We had another gal that did it that lost 10 pounds. But just the overall aspect of how everyone that was on the meetings kept saying it's quieted the food noise. It's quieted that want. When they were traditional fasting and cortisol was an issue, or the one that, she commented she had to white knuckle and push her way through a traditional fast, and this was easy for her. She wasn't constantly thinking about food while she was fasting. That was huge because so many people struggle with the fact of what is their next meal? What is their next food? Where are they going to get that food? Where are they going to get, and for that to be quieted with doing fat fasting and the support of the community, that's huge. And Absolutely. Like I said, it almost brought me to tears last week, just hearing their stories of that freedom that they had found.
Anytime you do a fast, if you're struggling, fast should not be difficult. And the fact that and there's other health benefits as to why we do fat fasting over water fasting. But yeah, and you need to be metabolically sound to be able to do a true water fast, or you didn't sleep well the night before, and then you think you're going to fast the next day. It's like, it's just, you're causing more stress on your body, and fasting is a stressor. And you have to be super careful. I know it's popular. I know that it's, you see the influencers out there going, oh, I'm doing a, 72-hour water fast. You know, you don't know how they are metabolically. Everybody's individual. And the longest fast I did was 100 hours, and I gained weight and my blood sugar got worse. So, just I throw the caution out there for people thinking that they're doing these fasts, that it's wonderful, but they're really, like Becky said, white knuckling it, and you're hungry, you're starving, and you're stressed. And oh my goodness, what do you do? And when someone says that to me, I know right there that they're not ready for a fast like that.
Well, and it can backfire on them. I mean, I've talked to several clients that when they come off of a water fast, then they regain, right?
Yeah.
Not that weight loss is our main focus, but they'll do this excellent, right? Fast, and then they either regain or they rebound, and it can kind of also set up a lot of eating disorders where people are restricting and then binging. So,
Yeah.
There's different ways to go about the fasting. I don't think that fasting is a great tool if used properly and depending on your metabolism.
Correct. Yeah. And I just, and you referred to, and I was on that meeting last week when that person said it quieted her food noise. Food noise is something that is really becoming the latest buzzword, for lack of a better word, right? But it's like a new buzzword, like, oh, the food noise. Like, there are ways to get around the food noise. We do talk about that in the BNC community. And as individual coaches, we work with people that have that food noise where I'm thinking about my next meal. And almost obsessing over it. And we know it's real. We're not saying it's not, but there really are ways to deal with it. I would before I turn to taking some of the medications out there.
Yeah, sorry, my computer kind of froze there. And it's when we look at quieting that food noise, quieting and creating food freedom, what does that look for you as an individual? Because it's not going to be the same for everyone. And that's where some people have to do full elimination with the fat fasting, right? There was a period of time where you were more carnivore. I know we've discussed the fact of being able to incorporate things like when you go for your fajitas, having, the guacamole and stuff with it. But there was a period of time where you were more carnivore, but you were doing the fat fasting. We have people that are more keto or paleo, and they're doing fat fasting. So it's not just, carnivore only type people that are doing it, but it's kind of it's a tool to put in the tool belt to also help put training wheels on traditional fasting.
Yeah.
But
well, and so because I do primarily eat carnivore, I actually incorporated some celery, and if anybody follows me on Instagram, I actually had a half a cucumber with my breakfast this morning. And there's reasons for that we're that I'm doing that right now, that Becky and I are starting to work on. And we're going to offer a class on that. So it's a little teaser to come. But yeah, we're doing some definite work on that. And I think we're going to start doing a Lunar Bites class inside the BNC community.
Yes, that will start next week. So the Lunar Bites is going into more of the seasonal eating, why am I more carnivore in the wintertime? And I'll incorporate foods in like the spring through the fall. What type of foods to incorporate in the spring? And the first class on that is Wednesday afternoon. Testing my memory. It's been a Monday, right? I'll just say that it's Wednesday. Join the BNC community. You'll be able to see what time the meetings are, and you'll be able to join that Lunar Bites. But I'll also, if you're more wanting the information as far as the details, the information behind in depth, then what we will be able to provide in a meeting, that will also be coming out as a class, kind of like what I did with the Fat Fast Masterclass. I just got to get the information put into slide format, presentation format, but it'll be coming too.
Yeah, I think we're going to wait till June for that, since we've got Hack Your Health coming up and other vacations planned and things like that. So we decided to kind of push that off into June to give some breathing room on that.
Bit much to try and get done all in May. May's going to go fast, but
May is definitely flying by. Yeah. And just to add a side note onto the Lunar Bites, look, if it's not growing outside your door, and I mean in your area door, then don't eat it.
Right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Simplistic form, absolutely. Yeah. Because, and even like the two of us, right? We're both in the Midwest, but we're at different latitudes. So, right. I mean, your temp was in the 80s today, and I think we were lucky to hit low 50s. With the storms and the fronts and everything moving through. But there's really not much growing. Now, I'm 3 years into this way of eating where I incorporate things seasonally, right? I started back in March of 2021. I did carnivore, fixed my metabolism, did circadian, fixed my Hashimoto's and hormones and all the rest of it. But in 2021 I was able to start incorporating some of these other seasonal carbs, and I feel amazing. My energy level's great. I can maintain ketosis, and unless I'm, intentionally feasting, which goes along with the moon cycle. So that's something else that I will teach in that class is how do we eat, based on a new moon versus a full moon, and why is it different, right? So those are the type of things that will be taught in that Lunar Bites class.
Yep, and that's something Becky and I are currently eating. Both of us are eating on the moon cycle right now. We're both starting our fat fast early. But again, even us coaches in the BNC community, we support each other as well. When the other Coach Sly said, "Hey, would you guys, I'm going to do this." And Becky and I were all in. We were like, let's do it. Like, I'm in. Now I'm not doing it Wednesday because I have a planned meeting happening where we're going to go out to eat and so forth. But that's the nice thing about this. I have that, planned in there. So my fat fast is going to be tomorrow and Thursday, where yours, I think you're doing all 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I'm going tonight through Friday.
Oh, you're going to go through Friday. Okay. And I may end up going into Friday as well. I mean, why not? I do feel amazing on a fat fast. It's kind of so satiating, just incredible. There is no hunger. I don't think about, in fact, it's almost for me trying to get all the fat in that I need for a fat fast. It's kind of almost pushing myself like, oh, I have to eat some more fat. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but it's very satiating. So it's you want to not eat. At least that's me. I don't know about you, Becky.
Well, that's where I move up in the levels. So
Right.
if there's days where I'm not really hungry, right? That's why there's a 4-tier approach.
Right.
So I know Coach Sly had talked about doing the advanced 2 level, which it's easier to come down levels. So, if I'm not hungry, I'll do the advanced or the advanced 2. If I'm a little bit more hungry and feel like I need more, because like you said, it is very satiating. Fat is very satiating to me. So I will start my day with my breakfast because that's one of the meals that I personally end up and have every day, right? That's another misconception that a lot of people make around fasting is fasting through the morning. And then they're, stimulating the stress response, the body's producing stress hormones. And so then, they've got that on top of everything else where I will eat, even if it's just the fat, I'll eat within the parameters of that advanced 2. How am I feeling the rest of the day? Right. I'll do my whipped tallow bite. I'll do what I call beef crack, right? Tomorrow I will get some beef fat out of the freezer because again, when we have that cow process, we get all the fat. So I have not only the fat trimmings, but I'll get the suet as well. And I'll make that. I'll start with, just some in the morning. If I feel like I need more, I can always come down to, the advanced level or intermediate level, depending what I'm doing. Or how hungry I am, I should say, not what I'm doing. But the other option that we have is power pucks. So, that's one of the other things that can be incorporated in the fat fasting too. And there's times where, I won't eat much. And there's times where I'm hungry and I want, maybe more of like a beginner level. So just really kind of recognizing, is it truly hunger or is it just habit? That's the other biggest thing with fasting too, is many people are used to eating by a clock. So they are, eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner where they may not be as hungry, if you will. And instead it's just habit.
I think when I'm pasting in the Power Puck codes here for everyone. One of the most eye-opening things, and for me, before I started my healing journey, I would have been the person that said, I don't want breakfast, I don't like breakfast, and I'm not hungry. And there's a reason why I wasn't hungry, and that was because my cortisol, my blood sugar was really up high. And that didn't make me hungry.
Mm-hmm. And then there's other people that struggle with the fast because they are leptin resistant, right? Their body doesn't know that it has energy reserves. It's not fat adapted. And so they don't have that access, if you will, and the body thinks that it's starving, so it will increase ghrelin. And then it just makes fasting harder, where if you have proper sleep, you have, some of these parasympathetic um, tools in place to be able to balance your blood sugar, balance your stress, that type of thing, fasting can be done correctly.
Yes. Most definitely.
But
Some
does anyone
it's and just I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed. This is something that Becky and I worked on through, it is just something that it's step by step, right? It goes, it's kind of funny. It goes back to what my
your name
Instagram,
is?
yeah, my Instagram and Facebook. It's step by healing step, and that's truly what this is. Nobody should jump in full force on everything we just talked about tonight. Um, because you set yourself up to fail in a lot of ways when you try to do too much. And we don't want that. It is little tiny baby steps for sure.
Absolutely. It's we're looking at it as a lifestyle, as a journey, right? You referred to it in the Supercharge Your Mindset meeting as far as a marathon. And we're not looking for quick fixes. We're looking at how can we create a sustainable lifestyle. If you've got to do something and white knuckle it your way through it, or be very restrictive with yourself, how long are you going to be able to sustain it?
Yep.
So what I've put in place for myself specifically, and what we teach in the BNC community, is how can you make it a sustainable lifestyle?
Right.
Not just another, fad type thing, but make it a lifestyle.
Right. Exactly. And when, I asked the question about what is a marathon or how long is a marathon, and what I think we came up with, what is it, 26 point something?
26.2.
Yeah. But everybody forgets about the years leading up to that, and the prep work that you have to do, and all the time that you put into it. And, oh, what happens if you get an injury, and how do you deal with that? Because no journey goes from point A to point B up. It's spaghetti, right? It's spaghetti noodles, and it's stress, and things happen in life, and oh, I fell off the wagon, and oh, it was my granddaughter's birthday, or just any number of things that get in the way. But it's really not getting in the way. It's learning to navigate those things. I know when we were selling our house, and that was like from basically November 1st to the end of February, I was in a high stress situation. The only thing I could do at that point was just be consistent. And because I knew I was in a high stress situation, I could feel the weight gain specifically in my stomach, which was the cortisol from the stress. And I knew this, and I was very cognizant of it. And what did I say to you a week or two ago, Becky, about that?
Yeah, the fact that you notice that it is changing, right? You notice that inflammation is coming down, but also the other thing was you were actually under eating.
Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine that? Yeah, I was. I was starting to ache. My joints were literally on fire for days, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I mean, this went on for what, a while, a couple weeks, right?
Mhm.
And finally, Becky said to me, "How much are you eating? I don't know if you're eating enough." And it kind of triggered in my head, like, oh my goodness. And so from that moment on, I've been very aware of how much I'm eating. I don't have that aching in my joints like I had. So that inflammation has gone down. But under eating can cause a whole host of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're not just talking about the fat fasting and fasting through it, right? You also need on the flip side to be eating and eating an adequate amount. And so we do teach both sides, right? It's not just eat less, but eating less at the appropriate times, eating less when you need it as a tool, but like I said, not overdoing it either.
Absolutely. So I don't have any more questions. I just checked my other platforms.
I don't either. Instagram is being quiet. We kind of answered their questions, and so unless anyone on any of the other platforms have questions for us, feel free to stick them in. Otherwise, we may jump over to the BNC community early.
They won't know how to act because we're always consistently late going into that meeting. But yeah, no, it sounds good. I believe next Monday we have a guest.
We do end up and have a guest on the 13th.
Yeah, I'm excited
Jessica.
for her. Jessica, yes. I have been following her since KetoCon Hack Your Health last year. She got on my radar, just an everyday person. I've watched her journey, and I just think her journey has been very interesting. So we're going to have her on and have her talk about that. And Becky, I think we'll be able to meet her when we go to Hack Your Health as well.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for Hack Your Health. I think it'll be so much fun. I'm excited not only to meet other people there, but meet the BNC community. Because many of us, sit in these meetings throughout the week, and to actually be able to meet. Some of the people I've known for years, right? And this will be the first time that I'm able to meet them. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and actually, this will be the first time Becky and I meet in person as well.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? We've known each other for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But yeah, isn't that crazy to think that, she's going to look at me and go, oh, you really are that short. So,
no,
yes.
It'll be fun. I'm excited. So, for anyone listening that wants to join us at Hack Your Health, remember we've got that discount code, but we've also, if maybe you aren't going to Hack Your Health, but you are local to the area, you can still join the BNC community and come to the BNC meetup too. You don't have to, be at just Hack Your Health. We have a couple people, I think, that are going to do that. They're going to join us Friday evening for the meetup, but they won't be able to attend the conference for other reasons. So
absolutely reach out to us, let us know so we can get you that information. Hopefully we answered all the questions, and it was a good conversation.
Absolutely. And anyone that is in the path of the storms that are moving through tonight, stay safe. We love you. And thanks for jumping in.